Everybody, Jake here with Transpire to go over the broad markets into next week. Happy Labor Day, and remember we do have a 35% off sale currently going on. Make sure to check out our link below to check that out, and also our Twitter page. Going into SPY, we have the daily and the weekly chart. You can see here on the daily chart what a perfect bounce off the volume shelf in the Anchored View app. On Friday, you can see here that essentially we did have a breakdown here. There was clearly some liquidation going on, which a lot of the time will throw a lot of technical levels out the window, at least in the short term. But then you can see how well the price regained into the end of the day, and this area really acted as a demand zone on Friday. So looking at this, we also had this volume gap, essentially telling us that there was not a lot of friction here for the price to interact with on the way down. It was pretty much just like a vacuum all the way down to this next volume shelf below. And just a reason, why did I anchor the VWAP and the volume by price from this area? Well, this was the pivot before the next leg up. So this was kind of the status quo change in the market here, the final shakeout before the next leg up. And so that's why I did use this particular candle to anchor from. Now on the weekly, you can see this previous area of resistance acted as perfect support this week as well. So not only were we working with the volume by price here in this volume shelf and the Anchored View app, but we were also just working with the classic horizontal level of previous resistance and acted as support as well. So that is what's looking like a possible bounce into next week. But if we turn on the multi-time frame analysis here, we're still pretty far outside of this monthly Bollinger Band here, so we'll just have to see what happens going into the week ahead. Now the Qs, very similar kind of setup here. Now I am going to just kind of remove the anchored volume by price here and really focus on this this very slight ascending wedge here. And the really cool thing about this was a couple days ago on Wednesday, we had this very kind of classic setup here, hanging man right here on September 2nd. And then if you look at this as well, on April 17th, we had a hanging man before this little reset. So really strong candle on this previous area of support, acting as support once again, at least at the close. And then you can see on the weekly side of things, we are still pretty far outside of that monthly Bollinger Band. And this is the ominous thing about the market right now, is we're just still so overextended, but we did have quite a reset here in the pretty much, I was going to say in the Qs, but pretty much everything across the board. Even crypto got hit. So clearly some liquidation that went on this weekend. Going into IWM did have a little bit of a pullback, not as much as you would have thought. We did touch this previous area of support shown within this symmetrical triangle here. And then this is very similar to SPY. We have this previous area of resistance that we broke through and then pretty much tested it and held, at least for now. We'll have to see what happens going into the rest of September, but this was a pretty textbook area to catch a bid for IWM. Now going into VIX, VIX did have quite a week, and the thing about VIX is, we did have a little bit of a breakout here on the weekly, so clearly something to keep in mind with this kind of strength on VIX. However, this is a pretty ugly daily candle, and we'll just have to see what happens going into the week ahead, but definitely not the strongest candle going into next week. And that is the broad markets. We'll do another video here going over some of the other stocks, mainly FANG stocks, into next week. But thank you so much for watching, and remember, we do have that 35% off Labor Day sale going on now. Make sure to check out the link below to get that info.